Welcome to Mic Check Waifu Waifu.
Check. Mic check, waifu, Montel. Is that you?
This season is in swing.
This is episode 334 of Mic Check, Waifu. As always, it's brought to you by Patreon. Patreon.com/Mic Check, Waifu is where you can get early access to the video version of this podcast, where you can get access to the Patreon exclusive podcast, The After Stories, where you can get access to the pre-show, which goes live 2 days before this episode goes live. Shout out to the Patreon producers, the guys that keep the lights on. Explicitly, Ked the Pro from Chaotic Culture Podcast, Fear, Semi Sensei, Frozen, T Money, Fingers. Dad needs to talk more from him later. Christian the Archivist, All for One Matt, welcome back, Matt. Rob Stone, Matthew H. And last but certainly not least, TK the Astronaut. Welcome to episode 334 of Mic Check Waifu, the anime podcast brought to you every Tuesday at 8 a.m. Every Tuesday at 9:30 a.m. Central Time. We appreciate you guys so much for rocking with us. Make sure you like the video on YouTube and you subscribe to our YouTube channel. We greatly appreciate those that do, and rate us on any podcast services that you listen on. It helps us out quite a bit when you do that stuff. We have a very large episode for you today because winter is in full effect, minus 2 shows, which is 2 of our most anticipated shows, which is Oshinoko and Freerin. Those 2 aren't out yet, but we got everything else to discuss this week. It's going to be a really, really, really thick episode, including some thoughts from the community and et cetera, et cetera. Without further ado, Tell, what was your episode of the week this week?
I can't lie to you. It's kind of hard.
Yes, it's a tough one. It's a tough one. I got mine. It's a tough one.
But I say that because, like, I feel like there were quite a few notable episodes.
Mm-hmm.
My goodness. I'm going to go with, and don't bite my head off when I say this, because I really enjoyed this one, and I know this is going to kind of come out of left field, but you and I are polar opposites.
What a fantastic episode. Holy shit, what a fantastic episode. Completely out of left field, for one. I just want to say that. We're going to talk about it more in a little bit here, but completely out of left field. I wasn't expecting it to be as good as it is. The dub is fantastic. We're going to get into it more later. My episode of the week this week has to be Shiboyugi playing death games to put food on the table.
Holy shit.
That was the most artistic / fucking engrossing story, beautiful art design. Everything about that hour-long episode we had was spectacular. Mm-hmm. So that one was a big surprise for me because I was not expecting what I got from that, and it was great. Shout out to TCB, a very dope contributor in our community. We always have great conversations with TCB whenever it come about because his taste is very different from ours. But we both was like, yo, this was one of the most incredible episodes this week for sure.
When we really get down to break down the episode, I do want to say, because 100% I agree. That was one of the episodes that was just a great watch in general.
Absolutely. TCB even says, what a fantastically directed first episode. One of the best directed episodes I've seen of anime in a long time. That was fantastic. Mm-hmm. Very, very, very well done. Okay. Before we get started into the whole rigmarole, here's a couple of things I want to mention. First, I want to mention, I want to introduce a new category. And all of our categories normally comes from pieces of our community, ideas from the community, etc. This idea spurs from one of our cohorts, Dad Needs to Talk podcast. If he would allow me, he can completely just message me and say, okay, don't use that. That's my shit. But I want to start a segment called Mic Check Needs to Talk. Okay. And it's just going to be like a segment where we just discuss certain things, okay? And me and you kind of have a back and forth here, because where I want to start with this episode today is the show that you dropped this week. You can go ahead and mention that show because
it is.
He dropped the show first episode in. We normally do 3, but he dropped it in the first episode, and I know exactly why. But go ahead.
Wait, hold on. What is it? Because it is the rom-com. Can't do rom-com with childhood best friends. I think.
Yep.
It's right around that name.
You can't be in a rom-com with your childhood's best friends. Now, Mic Check Waifu needs to talk. Okay. Shout out to That Needs to Talk. Make sure you check out That Needs to Talk podcast. But this is a new segment. Mic Check Waifu needs to talk, because me and you need to talk. There's something I learned about Tell from just hearing the fact that he dropped that one. And I'm about to do this in a not combative way, but in a way that I know that will spark a decent conversation. Tell, did you like Scum of the Brave?
It was okay. There was a lot. It was okay.
You find shows like that okay, but you can't do rom-coms. I noticed this. Now stick with me. 100 Girlfriends. You don't like 100 Girlfriends? Rom-com. Anything that's romantic comedy like this, outside of Masamune Kun's Revenge, but outside of anything like that, you don't do. You can't do. I noticed that. It's when it's a strong rom-com series, you don't fuck with it. Period. Point blank. And that's like a couple of cuckoos you ain't fuck with. There's just a bunch of slice of life rom-com comedy shows that you just do not fuck with, and I respect that. But you will think something like Scum of the Brave is okay. That shit was garbage. I mean, it was ass. It was so bad.
Yeah.
Everything about Scum of the Brave was terrible. But that is where our taste and this is why Mic Check Waifu needs to talk. That's where me and Tell's taste slightly differ, because he can find some shows like that more tolerable than I can. I can't. Yes. I can't fucking. Scum of the Brave is one of some of the worst. I'm gonna give it 3 episodes because that's the rule of the show, and that's normally how we do things. But that shit was terrible. It's just, it was awful. But compared to rom-com, before I finish this last thought, but you can't be in a rom-com with your childhood friends was a very, very decent show. I mean, it was slightly above okay. I do think it was one of the weaker ones this week, but I will say it is better than what you're giving it credit for, because it is a different logical take. It is a different take because the main character is a little bit more logical than thinking that rom-coms can be real life. Obviously, right. This is not real life. This is an anime, so it's a little skewed perspective, but I like the perspective of it. And I think it's a creative way of doing it. So that is what I wanted to talk about with White Check White
okay.
To talk.
So I actually appreciate the combative nature of what you said, right? I appreciate the fact that you even brought it up, because it's something that, like, while I recognize that I like romance in my anime, I feel like my romance and comedy collaboration, like how that coincides or comes together, I'm very strict on that. Yeah. I guess is how I would perceive it, right? Because I don't mind harem anime to begin with, sure. Right? So the 100 Girlfriends normally would not be a problem for me. I do think it's the overabundance or how they do the comedy. It doesn't vibe well with me, but I can do better with said comedy in an action form. But let's also be honest. Shows like Fairy Tail.
Awful.
I hate it, right?
Objectively.
But I feel like the same issue I have with Fairy Tail, outside of all the pacing and everything else, I don't care. Yeah. Outside the issues I have with Fairy Tail, outside of the characters, the pacing, the world, everything that I absolutely hate about it, which is basically the entirety of the show. I feel like a lot of that can contribute to what I don't like about certain rom-coms, right? And I say specifically with like how they pace the comedy or how the comedy goes. I just feel like it's so hard to relate. It's so hard to even laugh at it. And I'll even go as like Scum of Brave, right? I don't think that show was, it was okay, but no, it was not good. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And when I say okay, I don't say okay as in like, this is good enough to watch. I mean, like, it's okay as it's going to get the 3 episode rule. I'm pretty sure it's probably going to be one I'm going to drop because like I said, as of right now, I think I got like 42 episodes or shows this season specific. I have some stuff still coming next week. You know what I mean?
Yeah, yeah.
Scum of Brave is on the chopping block. But I will 100% say
that's more tolerable than
for me,
like,
because I can just turn it on. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I can just turn it on and let's say it gets dubbed at some point, right? I don't have to even really think about it.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where like my attention span for something that really engrosses and entices my interest is going to be way better. But for something like this rom-com, I'm like, I didn't feel like I liked the characters. I tried to go along with like the internal monologues and the overt monologues, but the energy, and you know what it was? The energy was almost too high for romance for me. Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
Like it was too high energy
very aggressive
for romance for me. It didn't feel like it took itself serious in any idea.
Rom-coms don't. That's the point.
Which I get. But, you know, I do like the romance. You know what I mean? I like romance. And hear me out. I feel like since I've been kind of put on the spot, I'm willing to say I'll give it 2 more episodes because it could completely blow my mind, right? I just felt like after watching that first episode, I'm like, oh, there's no way I'm watching this. Like, I know within my heart, I'm like, yeah, this isn't getting past.
Yeah, because did you ever watch Girlfriend?
I think I did.
Okay, that one was spectacular. Also rom-com, but I could tell that it wasn't because there's 2 seasons of Girlfriend. You probably watched season 1, didn't touch season 2. That one is spectacular romantic comedy too. I noticed it because of stuff like Girlfriend, 100 Girlfriends, just whatever rom-com we have in a season, you just don't. It's almost not even on your radar, like as a thought. But you will give stuff like Nobleman's Vacation, which to go back to me now to combat myself, I am not touching these boy loves or Yuri's. They're just not for me. That is a genre that I cannot and will not touch. And it's getting a lot of love. Shout out to and I want to give a special shout out since we still in the Dad Needs to Talk segment, or My Chick Wife Needs to Talk. Give a special shout out to Dad Needs to Talk. Shout out to him for helping me keep up with the threads and adding shows that he's watching to the forums. Make sure you join our Discord so you can check out these forums. He's fantastic. Shout out to him for that. But I just like he created one for I think it was a Nobleman's Vacation, or I created one for Nobleman's Vacation. He was the first person to mention something about it. And I'm like, okay, if Dad Needs to Talk is mentioning it, then I gotta try it. I tried the first episode, saw where it was going. Immediately, nope, it's not for me. It's just I can't touch those with a 10-foot pole, 17-foot. It don't even matter. I can't stand those shows. But it's virtually because it just like with you, how the rom-com or the romantic comedies don't really gel with you because that is not your style of comedy. That is the Yuri's and the boys love is just not my style of romance. I don't gel with it.
And hear me out when I say this. I completely understand. Because even while watching it for myself, I'm like, I turned it on initially. I didn't think it was going to be that. Because, mind you, when I turn these on, I'm not looking to see if they are boys love, girls love, anything like that. I'm just turning it on.
Me either.
I didn't watch a trailer for it. I literally just turned it on. I'm like, oh, a Gentle Noble's Vacation recommendation. I'm like, oh, this might be great. Like, the title already seems like something I might really enjoy.
Yeah.
Yeah, nah, brother. And I'm not even saying it like I don't like it. But I'll be honest, this isn't normally the thing I like. Like it was a vampire anime a couple years ago. Noblesse, something like that. Yep. And it was very, I'm not going to say, because it didn't have the boys love aesthetic to it, but it was very like trying to make the men more elegant and beautiful and make their looks like the star of the show. Which I feel like a lot of shows where they try and do that, at least for me, they do tend to fall flat. That's where like 6 or 7 episodes in, you know what I mean?
Same.
So to be fair, it's like if this show provides no substance, it will also fall flat. And now that I have experience in that genre, I'm going to say that's something that I understand. There's another one I think I tried to watch last year where it was like a girl got transported to another world and there's all these handsome wizard men and I couldn't even finish it. I think I got to episode 2 and I was like dropped because it wasn't for me. But I think Crystal did watch, and if Crystal can remember the name of it, please remember it for me and let us know or drop it in the comments or whatever. But yeah, brother, I understand how you feel about that. but I do think that this one has some enticing things. If you can just subvert your eyes from the, it's definitely gonna be a lot of boys love in here because it popped off.
Yeah,
very discreetly but overtly with the boys love in this first episode.
Yeah, it's just it never gel with me. But yeah, that's it, man. I just figured I get that off my chest because I learned that about Tell after. Shout out to one of our producers, Arthur, when Matt mentioned it in the Discord forum of that episode. Like, damn, Tell dropped this one already. And I'm like, huh. Now that I think about it, when I add up all of the rom-coms that we've watched over the 6 years we've been doing this podcast, you really don't fuck with rom-coms. Or it got to be a very specific type, i.e. Masamune Ko's Revenge, which is a rom-com, but it's mostly serious. It's mostly serious for the most part. That was
so good, though.
Yeah,
that was so
because
good.
It's mostly serious. So, yeah, no, that's spectacular. And the fact, it's unironic that you picked You Are Not the Polar Opposites because it's another one of those. It's a rom-com, but let's get into that now. To get into the show, to the new shows that we watched this week. You and I Are the Polar Opposites was one of the bigger surprises this week for me. I found this episode to be spectacular. Like, I'm excited to try to get my wife to watch this one too. I was so excited because when I go into an episode, I always look at, because a couple of friends on my Annie list always show up in the following of what shows they're watching. So as soon as I watched this episode, I went to the following section to see if Crystal was watching this one. And it didn't show she was watching it. She probably had it set as planning, but it wasn't showing she was watching. So I'm like, I got to tell her to watch this episode because this episode was fucking spectacular. Everything about this episode was so great. You and I Are the Polar Opposites is about a gal girl who's in school, who's sitting next to this, what you would call the opposite of what a gal girl is, or a garu. And the nerdy guy with the glasses, quiet dude. He's sitting next to him in the class.
Very astute.
Yeah, very astute. And she interacts with him because she has the biggest crush on this kid. And it is just the most adorable thing you would ever see. For one, it has that floaty art style, but this floaty art style is very beautiful. I absolutely love how gorgeous it looks. It looks absolutely beautiful. And then it has some of the most likable characters and classmates around the main character that I'm like, yeah, this is going to be fantastic already in this first episode, which leaves credence to say that it's no excuses for shows that can't establish good character writing in the first episode.
But let me say what you just said, like attach something to that, right? The side characters, it was the, oh my God, I think I might have said something that made things worse realization. It was the hurry up, I think you still have a chance thing. And I'm just like, these side characters, they're not playing the game to make it like to make it seem as if there's an issue or anything like that. But they're really like upfront and trying to make sure that things get taken care of. And these characters really relate and get their relationship like started.
It's more akin to a real life situation, because nowadays you don't have situations to where people are quote unquote bullying you or judging you via who you decide to talk to or who you decide to date nowadays. But this also is dealing with somebody who is very keen on her appearance and keeping up a facade. Which again, it's a note that they can take throughout the rest of the season. Yeah, the note that they can take for the rest of the season, and just watching how she grows and how they grow is going to be. But I'm not going to say what happens at the end. Well, I know we usually spoil the first episode and stuff, but I think it's worth watching. Watch this fucking episode or this show. If it's not on your list, please put it on your list. You and I Are the Polar Opposites. I talked in the pre-show about Rob Stone. Welcome back to Rob Stone again. But I talked in the pre-show about Rob Stone coming back to the internet, and this isn't on his list. I would suggest, if you have to, remove something and watch this, because this is way more worth it. And my suggestion would be something like, you cannot be in a rom-com. All right. That's just looking at Rob Stone's list that he gave, the weakest one I see on this show. Because I don't know how he feels about, boys love for gentle nobleman's vacation and whatnot. So the only one I know on this list that absolutely could get cut for a show, if you can't afford to add anymore, is you cannot be in a rom-com, because You and I Are Polar Opposites is 100% worth the watch. So totally add this to your list if you can. Fantastic first episode for that particular show. All right.
That was a great episode.
Yeah.
Great episode. Oh my God.
Now let's talk about the show that I gave my episode of the week to, which is Shiboyugi. Playing death games to put food on the table. Yeah, as we mentioned at the start of the show, this one very special. Very special first episode. It was an hour-long first episode, or 47 minutes roughly. But it had some of the best direction I've ever... One of the best directed episodes ever, to be fair. Very creative, very unique. And I always talk about games that do the overly... let's be overly gruesome for no reason type of shows. I talked about how I hate shows like Junie Tyson, or that other one that everybody always talks about. Whatever the case may be. But there's shows that are overly gruesome and just kills characters for the sake of killing characters. But I mean, it's called playing death games, so people die. I'm not gonna say who dies or whatever, but this episode was spectacular. I'm sure you guys looked at the cover art of this episode and was like, what the hell is that? That's from this show. Screenshots everywhere. Screenshots galore. I mean, this show is beautiful. But this is about a girl who is... We don't really know much of anything, to be fair, in this first episode, but we just know that this girl, Yuki, plays death games to just basically feed herself. And her goal is to win 99 death games. And she's before this one, she's at 28. Now, what's interesting about this is that what else is there? Because the first episode had virtually everything in it, right?
You would think so, right? But I do think that the greatness about this first episode is that they didn't say too much other than introducing the death game.
Yeah.
And what they have a lot to play with is the versatility of the death game, because I feel like they showed what it could look like. You know what I mean? They showed all right, this is what you're to expect. Puzzles, conversation, basically Saw-like behavior, but in a much more it could shift entirely, because this was a very exploratory episode. This is like a tutorial to a video game, almost, like you said. It's explaining, hey, you don't have to necessarily listen to the rules directly. Just look at what's happening around you, figure it out. And I don't want to say too much, because I do think that it's very important that, like, if you're going to try and engage in this anime, that you do take that first watch and really let it sink in when you watch it.
What's it?
But I do, like you said, the direction of this episode was crazy.
Gorgeous.
Not just visually, but it was how they put different segments in to direct your mind alongside your eye, and then use both of those things to show you exactly what the next step was, show you how people may react or interact in those situations, to show you the feelings and emotions that people will feel throughout those situations. This episode was phenomenal for so many different reasons. I think that I even almost, when you mentioned it, I was like, dang, I kind of made a poor choice in not choosing this as my episode of the week. But it definitely is just like, this is, like you said, one of the best first episodes ever. And the only thing that would have made it better is that they added another 30 minutes and might have just said make it a movie, and give us a whole story. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
this is a great first episode to watch.
Yeah, as TCB said, as I mentioned earlier at the top, what a fantastically directed episode, from the visual to the music and sound direction. Absolutely true. And it's giving off an eerie as fuck feeling, in a sense of anxiousness that anything can and will likely happen. Well said, TCB. I mean, it is absolutely astonishing, because there's no rhyme or reason to. There's no gut check in this. This is just one of those shows you would never know what is going to happen next. I mean, from moment to moment, minute to minute, you would never know what's next, because it's going to seemingly get scary. Shout out to Studio Dean. I had no idea Studio Dean was the ones behind this. The fantastic episode.
It was definitely, it was in their bag for that one for sure. That was one where they dug deep.
Yeah, I mean, and to keep in the Studio Dean realm, shout out to them for having my sleeper, which is The Villainess is Adored by the Prince of the Neighboring Kingdom. What a great first episode this was.
Yes.
I was worried at first because, and the reason why I was worried at first is because I was like, okay, this is based off an Otome game. So I don't know how far you can really go with that particular thread line, because we've watched shows based off an isekai from an Otome game before. I believe Raeliana is based off an Otome game as well. No, that's based out of a book that she gets isekais into, but same concept. So I was thinking to myself, I'm like, I don't know if this is going to be strong enough because it's based off an Otome game, because an Otome game already have an established ending. But the way they subvert that established ending within this episode is spectacular. So this girl was very sickly. She loved playing this Otome game. And when she passed away, she was isekai'd into this Otome game, which happened to be her favorite of all time. And when she was isekai'd into it, she's already engaged to the prince, or the main hero, essentially, of this Otome game. But the problem with that is, in this Otome game, there's a main heroine and a villainess. She get isekai'd as the villainess. So she's in the body of the villainess in this Otome game, where she already knows exactly how it ends because she's played the heroine as a third party while playing the game. And it's quite sad because she takes the villainous role and she doesn't do what you would think think a villainess would do in this typical way. And she don't takes the role of the villainess. She just be herself as this character. And she's a sweetheart. She's very nice. And it's kind of sad to see the way it play out. It is. But I enjoyed everything in this first episode, from how it wrapped to the way it built the story, until now we have nothing to go off of, since the Otome game is essentially over in the first episode.
And that was one of the things that obviously gives so much freedom to what this show is. I watched this, and immediately watching, I was like, oh, I already like villainous anime anyway. There's so many that we've watched that has had the villainous, or at least I've watched already that have had a villainous where I was like, okay, well, I'll finish it. It's only 12 episodes or whatever. But to see the subversion of what was expected and how they went about it, to me, this already has set a tone or a precedent that this could be better than some of the ones that we've already seen, in my personal opinion.
Absolutely.
I'm absolutely hoping that it keeps this same kind of trajectory and energy from how that this show has presented itself, because with the obviously other prince showing up, and how shook and how mishandled the situation was by others, it just felt amazing. And that's the best part, though, is that she didn't change anything. She was just being herself.
Yep. Let it happen the way it happened.
And then she stuck to the rules of the game, the rules of the world. And I'm like, you're not really being a villain. You're really just being honest here.
Yep.
And I really like how that played out. So I'm actually excited, very excited for this one.
Me too. So spoilers for this. Obviously, we're going to spoil the first episode of shows here in this episode to see if you want us to add it to your list or not. But do you feel like the main heroine, which is, let me go to so I get her name right. Do you feel like Akari is also isekai?
I'm gonna say no.
No, really?
Yeah, I'm gonna say no. But I mean, and mind you, you know what? She could be that, because she was very forward for a commoner. You know what I mean? Normally, the person in that position is very like subtle, laid back, acting as if they don't know what's gonna happen.
Yep.
You know what? Never mind. I change it. I do think she's isekai. That all makes sense. It leads that direction.
It's another character that absolutely loves this game. She's isekai into it, and she knows that she gets the prince over the villainous, so she's taking advantage of that. She loves that. But then this prince come out of nowhere and like, but wait, why is this prince also want to go after the villainous? Something's not right here. And then she tries to stop that whole interaction. So yeah, she has to be an isekai character. And I love what happened at the end to her at the end of this episode. I'm not gonna say no more than that, but it was just so satisfying. And I can't wait to see where they go together in the next and this whole entire series. Something about them establishing a full story in episode 1 is like the theme of this season, it seems.
Yeah.
For a lot of these shows.
Now, I do kind of want to switch points.
Okay.
And I feel like we just talked about some good stuff.
Yeah.
I do kind of want to talk about something that I wasn't sold on.
Okay.
And it had a very similar start, which is funny enough, right? The Holy Grail of Eris. Did you watch that one?
Yes.
You were sold on this one?
Absolutely.
Oh my goodness. So hear me out. I felt like, and let's just go and talk about the episode a bit, right?
Yes.
The beginning is where I was sold. I was like, okay, wow.
What?
I was like, this is where I'm like, this is where the show, it's basically One Piece. It's not One Piece. I'm making a joke. But there is a woman in the Holy Grail of Eris. Her name is Scarlet Castile, who gets beheaded for essentially, she's portrayed as someone who is, what was it exactly that she did? They thought that she was messing or sleeping with.
Yeah, so they basically, she was a scapegoat essentially.
Yeah,
they
so I know the
at the very
scapegoat part,
end.
but I couldn't remember exactly what the charge was. But either way,
she was just betrayed by somebody else who wanted the prince. Essentially,
she got scapegoated.
Yep.
And beheaded.
Yep.
In front of this little girl. And we come to a point where this little girl is grown up now. I think she's 16 or 17 at this point.
Yep.
Her name is Constance Grail.
She's a part of a prominent house, so that's a very important piece of this. She's a part of a prominent house who is required to
falling on hard times.
Yeah, yep, and who was required to marry the prince, essentially.
Right. So they get in this position where they marry someone of high status to basically they're going to pay off their debts, and the family's going to finally come back up. Right.
Mm-hmm.
She hears rumors about the prince that she's getting ready to marry. Being in love with being in love with another woman. She sees it for herself. That is all stuff I was like, okay, I'm seeing where it's going. It's a little messy. I'm here for this. I was here for all of that.
Okay.
What I didn't like was the confrontation.
What?
It was garbage, bro.
Nah.
And I'm gonna tell you why I think it was garbage.
Yeah, please do.
I'm gonna tell you why I think it was garbage, and this might be a moment where we just have to disagree. But I'm still here for the show while I say that, and that's what I'm gonna say. I'm still here for the show. I hope it improves after this episode. I hated the point where they got to this point where the woman who was essentially trying to steal Constance Grail's fiance, Pamela, and essentially what she does is she frames her for stealing a noble person's hair piece. And that hair piece is obviously expensive, so it's like, oh, she's falling on hard times. They frame her in a way in which is like, she has no money. Of course, she would steal something, and it's to defame her so that she can lose her spot and take the prince for herself, right?
Yep.
And that's all treacherous. I hated that, right? I'm not mad at the direction of the show for that. What I didn't like was what happened afterwards when Scarlet Castile takes over, and it felt almost as if like all the crowd had to do is what a lot of crowds do, and just shut up. And that whole scenario would have went the same way it already went. Like there was no actual physical evidence to prove or back up what she was saying. So all they had to do was look at her and join sides with the people who actually have money and nothing would have gone the way that she wanted in this first episode.
Okay. Tail is a very smart man. He's always been smart in RAB classes, top of the class, A's, rarely B's. Okay. But that got to be the dumbest thing you've ever said. And let me tell you what, it is. Because for one, if they would have kept quiet, it would have went the way Pamela wanted it to go, right? That's the conflict of the story, and that's what you're saying, right?
Right.
If the crowd would have stayed quiet, it would have went the way Pamela wanted. That is the entire point of what who the girl that took over, what's her name?
Castile, Scarlett Castile.
That is the entire point of what the way Castile navigated that made the fucking show so cool. Now, I want to state that what he said at the beginning, he was down with, he was rocking with, it was great. I believe the total opposite. I think the beginning was atypical, be usual. What the hell was the difference between the beginning of the Otome game, when we just talked about, and the beginning of this one? There was no difference. It was essentially the same anime. Okay, the exact same anime up into that turning point. That turning point being when she got taken over by Castile, or when the other prince came in for the other one. Now, when she got taken over by Castile, and Castile went on her tirade, the way she navigated that crowd and said, "Oh, I remember you. This is the name of the person that did this. You saw this, right? Okay, don't say anything. It's fine." And then the way she went to the next person, and the way she went to the next person, and just broke them down individually to show them like, hey, what you guys are doing is wrong, and I'm gonna make you feel like it's wrong. I'm gonna show you why it's wrong, and that's why literally everybody in that thread agrees with me here. It was absolutely fantastic. That was the absolute best part of the entire show.
But here's the issue, and while I think that yes, that was cool, it's a fallacy. It's not a thing that guarantees validity. That's the issue I have.
That's not the point.
Nothing. I understand it's not the point. That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that it didn't feel like, if this was a situation where everybody's leaning with money, everybody's leaning with power, that wouldn't have mattered, bro. That would have went right in one ear and out the other. That would have never swayed anybody in that crowd.
That would have. It did as it should. It was did as it instructed. Because when you think about the situation,
that's idealistic, and I don't think that's real, bro.
It's not.
It's so idealistic.
It's not, for the simple fact is the way she capped it off. You understand the way she capped it off?
Yeah.
When you think about the fact that, what's the biggest problem in this society? What's the biggest thing in this society that is unacceptable? It's theft. Not only is it theft of the brooch, like Constance was getting berated for, like she was about to get fucking kicked out of society for, it's the theft of somebody's man. And the fact that she broke all that shit down and even showed, oh, but this girl is a thief and she took my man, which makes that society that was already high tier and above that, like, yo, you try to steal somebody else's man, that shit ain't gravy. And that's why they also was kicking her ass while she was down. That's why they also made her dance until her feet bled. That's why they also did, because thievery in this society, and no matter what kind of situation it is, because again, this is just as same as any shoujo out there, or from the ones we seen, like the ones we just compared it to last time. Theft is going to be the biggest problem in this society. So the way she broke that down and showed them, like, look, I'm going to tell you why you're on the wrong side. I'm going to show you why you're on the wrong side. And then after I show you why you're on the wrong side, I'm going to show you why she's the bigger demon here. And that shit was well more than enough for people to turn tail and go to the correct side, because who the fuck would want somebody that steals their man? Nobody in this society do. Hence why it ended the way it did.
I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with that. That's what I'm saying. I'm not disagreeing with that. What I'm saying is, and obviously this is anime, so I can't expect realism. I don't think that that's a realistic scenario that would happen. That's all I'm saying.
It was executed brilliantly. Because again, she even said to them, as a form of gaslighting, she even said to them, you don't have to say anything. Don't worry, you ain't got to say nothing. Oh, you saw. You don't have to say anything. But they saw the truth. And then it's like, oh shit, we did. Oh, but not only that, she's also trying to steal my man. She's trying to do what? Like she when she mentioned that they were fucking in the bush and then forced her to admit that, no, we just kissed. Got your ass. And then all of that it just broke down like dominoes. It all just felt like dominoes, because then they're like, oh, so not only did we see you lie about her stealing this brooch, but you also trying to steal her man. It was brilliant. It was fucking brilliant. Because now I would understand if you said that if she didn't mention the fact that if she didn't convince Pamela to mention that she did kiss him. Like if she didn't mention any of the part about her trying to thieve her man, I would understand what you're saying, because then they're like, why would we not stick with the money? Why would we not stick with the highest societal side of this conflict? But because she broke her down and made her say, hey, you guys were fucking in the bush. I caught y'all fucking in the bush. Wait, no, we just kissed. But I caught you kissing somebody else's man. That's thievery. And then everything just falls down. It was executed brilliantly. It was fantastic.
The issue I have, and like I said, I just felt like it was unrealistic. And I understand what Polo was saying. I understand. I ain't looked at there yet, but I'm going to be sure that I'm pretty sure I agree with what most of you would likely say. The issue is that, like, for instance, even with thievery, is that I don't even think that's the biggest issue. I think it's the withholding of the truth. That's my personal opinion.
It's not the biggest issue.
Withholding the truth and thievery is the same. But withholding the truth, in my opinion, like, I don't care if someone who ain't got no money is out here stealing food for their family. Mm-hmm. Yeah, you stealing a brooch, that's crazy. But if someone who literally just don't have it, can't get it, I don't care nothing about that. This society would care about it. They would push that person down even more.
Absolutely.
What I care about is the withholding the truth. And I think that's where, like, while I wish that there was, which obviously is not a stronger emphasis specifically on that, I wish that was the emphasis on it, is that more about, like, it's not necessarily about her stealing the man. It's more about she withheld the truth from this person for whatever reason, and that's why you shouldn't trust this person. Because if she's withholding truth from us, or for this specific reason, what truth might she withhold from y'all? It could be financial gain, which for reason she's withholding truth, or anything like that. Sure. That feels more realistic for me in this society that they would withhold truth for, and or they would be willing to turn on her for.
And they discussed that. They did talk about her. Pamela did talk about why she the one that gets the wealth and the power, and she doesn't have anything. Mm-hmm. They mentioned that. So what you're saying is not wrong at all. And I think two things can be true. And I think both things was true. It was the fact that she convinced these people who were withholding the truth to say, hey, it's better to tell the truth in this particular situation, because guess what? She's also she's an actual thief. So
yeah, she out here thieving.
Yeah, so it's like two things could be true, and that again was what hooked me on the show, because the beginning of the show was so fucking atypical, be usual romance. Somebody doesn't like the other girl lies to get them, and then it's a whole long trash down this revenge tale. We got it all wrapped up in one episode, and now we got another revenge tale to follow, which I can't wait to see how it plays out. Because I want her to get her get back. She's already been executed, but she needs her get back big time. And that is what's going to be the most interesting part about this show. And that's why this is one of the more interesting shows that I also watched this week. The community is like, Crystal, that was fantastic. I'm mad my list is getting larger, but this is definitely worth the addition. Frozen just said, just watch the first episode. I'm hooked. All for one, Matt says, I'm always down for some sweet revenge. It's like, it was high on people's list, including mine. This was almost my episode of the week this week.
Really?
Yeah, it was that good for me. And it was beautiful too. Gorgeous character design. Loved it. Okay. We want to talk about gorgeous character design. Let's talk about In the Clear Moonlit Dust. This is going to be my sleeper before Crystal picked it for her sleeper, which made me pull an audible because I'm tired of me and her picking the same sleepers.
Yeah.
But this one, I mean, shout out to Danny's Talk. He says top tier show out the gate. It's so freaking beautiful. Great art direction. And I like these two characters already. I was taking screenshots like crazy this episode. This almost made the screenshot pool for me too. It's probably going to be next week, depending on how it plays out and looks. But I mean, not only just the character design is my favorite character design. It's heavier. It's the eye design. Something about this eye design is my favorite eye design of all time.
It gives it's like the Korean.
Yeah, almost very almost very manhwa like, which is funny. It's beautiful. But the one thing I will say that deserved more credit and is going to probably get from anybody else is the fucking soundtrack was astonishingly good. The way, I mean, the music and the way the music was placed and brought it in, it was beautiful. I mean, like top tier beautiful.
this show to me, the elegance of it made it extremely easy to watch. First off, right off the bat, I agree with all the sound design and the placement for it right off the bat. What I'm here for is the breaking of this shell of this seemingly like tomboyish character. Like, so the prince and the prince, but it becoming that princess and prince story.
I agree.
I'm kind of here for it because mind you, my wife was also very tomboyish before we got together. Now she be dressed up and cutie girled up and all that stuff. Which, mind you, I think she's always been very beautiful. But I think that in the right situations, a story like this could be very heartwarming and it sheds a light on this girl who was viewed a certain way, but is finally seen for what she wants to be seen. And I think that's a really cool story, actually.
And she's beautiful. She's adorable. She's
like gorgeous.
Like, come on, man. It's for one, the two characters are very likable. He seems like a very he does seem almost delinquent-esque, but he's he's respectful. He just seems like a sweet dude, which again is perfect. It's
delinquent-esque because he clearly comes from money and he's kind of doing just whatever he wants, right? You know what I mean? And that's what makes it, mind you, in other situations, this might not necessarily sit so well with me, but because of what we're getting and the setting of it, it feels as if like this is a right time, right place kind of scenario. You know what I mean?
Yeah. He comes from money, but it's not his personality. Yes.
And that's what seemingly makes this shine because everybody else is noticing his money and his wealth and whatever, right? They're noticing his looks and he knows that he's got this prince aesthetic, but he's like, nah, man, you beautiful.
Yeah.
And that to me is the upfrontness. That's what I care about.
Yes.
He upfront. He's like, nah, you're gorgeous. You're beautiful. And okay, you feel like you've always been treated like a prince, and he's like, let me sweep you off your feet real quick then.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was amazing.
Yes, my guy, 120%. I was like, this don't deserve necessarily any curse words. This is great. And I agree with that. I think this deserves a little bit more dignity than that. Yeah. I'll curse in later episodes. This one deserved greatness.
Yeah. Again, another one of my favorites this week too. Why I made episode of the week this is so hard this week. Sorry, I'm just texting my wife right now to watch it now. This particular episode.
So let's go. One more I didn't like.
Okay.
I don't even know if anybody watched this or everybody said this. I think this is somebody's sleeper though. Let me just check real quick to see if this is on anybody's sleeper list real quick before I go there. Where's it at? So yes, this is Dad Needs to Talk sleeper. This is Dead Account.
Now, just to preface this, he did pick it because it was one of the only things he didn't read. So it ain't like obviously our sleeper choices is stuff we know nothing about. So he just didn't know anything about it and just chose it because it was one of the ones.
And they're typically geared towards things that you would not normally watch. Is the whole point of the sleeper. Now, mind you, there are emotional beats in this that I thought were important, that I thought were actually pretty solid.
Okay.
But it's still, what was it last week that we watched? The Tongan Anki?
Yeah, that's a terrible show. Yeah.
You know how Tongan Anki had that emotional beat in the beginning with the father?
That's the only thing I liked about it.
Polo was like, oh my God, yes, I'm here for this. It was that emotional beat for me as well that I thought was like, that was just a high point. It almost, I wish it was just, and I feel, and this is why I don't like it. Not because this episode, I don't necessarily think this episode was bad, right? That's not what I'm saying. What I am saying is that they're not going to keep that emotional beat as like a through line for these shows, right? I feel like there's going to be episodes where it's like, oh, well, this dead account happened, because they were famous and not because, you know, people actually love them, and there's not going to be an actual emotional tie to some of these accounts or ghosts that we deal with.
What is it exactly? Because I haven't watched it, so I don't know anything about it.
Okay. So in Dead Account, and let me find the actual show here. In Dead Account, essentially what it is our main character, Soji and Ishiro, basically, and this is what's crazy, because this beginning episode I actually think is like it had me shocked with how this happened. You start off with the episode. He's a YouTuber, and what he does on YouTube is he picks fights with random people to rage bait, and he'll get millions of views, and it's made him millions of dollars, right? Mm-hmm. And he's using this money to pay for his sister's hospital treatment.
Already hated, by the way.
Pay for his sister's hospital bills, right? Mm-hmm. And basically, he's this like rage baiter dude outside in the regular world, but as soon as he's done with the YouTube, he's just like a completely normal guy who just loves and wants to take care of his sister. They're the only family that they have left, him and his sister. After this first day of him doing this, you know, we see what's going on. His sister's like, "Oh, you make sure you eat, make sure you take care of yourself when I'm not at home. You gotta make sure you wash your clothes, change your clothes, take a shower, brush your teeth, eat 3 meals a day. You can't just eat sweets all day." Yeah. She's telling him all these things, right? And come to find out, when he leaves, he's confronted by this guy and finds out that his sister actually died a month ago. Everything he's been living with his sister and everything like that has essentially just been fake. He's lost time, and he's been texting us. He's like, "My sister's right here. I'm texting her right now. Like, she's saying I love you right now." And what it is essentially because he has such a strong connection with his sister that her social media accounts are spiritually activated for him. So they're still present because of that. And sister comes out the phone, starts to morph into like this kaiju spirit monster thing. Another guy comes by and pulls a weapon out of his phone and starts hitting the sister. Like, it sound crazy, right? Yeah. But it's like it's very shonen at this point.
Okay.
Very typical shonen. But then he has to be the one to quell the situation with the sister. Let her know, like, look, I'm going to be fine. I'm not going to eat sweets every day. I'm going to do what I need to do, make sure I'm healthy. I'm going to take care of myself. I just need you to rest. And he puts her to rest. So he
becomes a ghost hunter, essentially, is what you're telling me.
Yes. Okay. Essentially, not officially. There's no official confirmation of it. Like, they say, "Oh, maybe we got to train him." You know, that whole scenario. It's very shonen-esque. You know what I mean? But the emotional context that was there, because they did that very well. Like we talked about the recent one, the sound placement, how they place the music and where it kind of swells and gets big and then it goes away. That was all good. Mm-hmm. But it's just it went straight to shonen mode, and I was like,
yeah.
Why'd you do this to me? I almost wish that it had no action in it.
Because that's the point of that show, is to try to hook you so then they can keep you hooked by action, because they can't keep you hooked by anything else, right? Like, they feel like they got to get all that shit done, and since they can't keep you hooked, they let it go. Now, to go to a show that I feel like is going to either, it's a slippery slope. This one started off extremely good, okay? And this is an adventurous daily grind at the age 29. It's about a kid who grew up, no parents, on the streets. He got it. He earned it, okay? He earned his living by hunting monsters since he was a little kid by himself in the streets. He grew up, earned his living hunting monsters, and now he's in this backwater town helping his village out by hunting monsters for them and taking care of them. He goes into the dungeon and finds this little girl. This little girl's getting attacked by a slime. She's getting her ass beat by the slime. So because obviously he is reminded of himself as a little kid when he was abandoned. She was also abandoned. He takes her in and tries to take care of her, even though he knows nothing about taking care of a kid. Okay, he's unmarried. He's a 29-year-old bachelor, just living a carefree life. Now, this show was extremely wholesome and sweet because of this guy taking care of this kid that he knows nothing about that was also abandoned. Now, I'm going to spoil the end of this because it's very important that I do. watching this episode, I'm like, oh, this is going to be good. It's going to be one of those easy, sweet watches where he's just taking care of this kid. It's going to be adorable. It's going to be nice, funny, sweet. It gets to the end of this episode. Come to find out that this little girl is a fucking succubus of some sort. And she grows bigger at night at a certain time or something like that. And it ends. Now, mind you, it started off so cute and wholesome of him taking care of this little girl and trying to train her to become better so she could live on her own. Because she has these wholesome pieces about her and she's all sweet. The fact that she grows up and turns into a succubus at night, they tell us this at the end of the episode, completely turns everyone. And I mean, not just me, but everyone off of what this show is. I mean, like I was just watching it. Dad Needs to Talk says, I'm kind of side-eyeing this one. It's either going to be wholesome or get into creepy territory. Little girl being a succubus and transform at night, gotta walk a tightrope.
So 100%, right? 100%. And there's this one statement that they made in this episode where something like, what caused you to become
bigger?
And she said something about like, I was thinking about eating meat.
Ugh, I forgot about that part.
And I'm like, at first I'm like, okay, so maybe it activates when she's hungry or,
that's what I was thinking too.
That's what I'm thinking, right? And then they say that scene, I think back to that moment, I'm like, oh. Yeah. This ain't going to be, I don't think this is going to be what, I hope it doesn't become that.
Me too.
It's got 3 episodes because I how everybody started at it, I 100% agree.
Same.
That right there alone, I was almost like, yeah, this might not even make it.
I know. I was very leaning towards not continuing after that end episode, but I'm like, okay, give it 2 more because the beginning was very easy to watch, very wholesome, very sweet. I'm like, oh, it's cool, neat, and I like his story. You know what I'm saying, coming up from nothing to something. It's always an entertaining watch, but the end of that, I'm like,
trying to be a good dude. You know what I mean?
Yep, exactly. Let's go to when that's so forgettable it hurts, but I'm interested. And that was, there's a cute girl in the hero's party, so I tried confessing to her. I mean, this shit is
you said forgettable?
Yeah, so forgettable it hurts. Like, it's just so atypical, be usual. We got some fucking heat this week. The fact that I just happened to look at my list and see that this comes out tomorrow, which is Monday from the time we're recording this, or it comes out tomorrow, which is Tuesday, the day this episode airs, second episode, is the only reason why I remember to talk about it. Because I forgot all about this episode because it's at the top of my list. And I'm like, oh, what the hell is this? I hover over it. I'm like, oh yeah, I did watch that. It's just so atypical, be usual in a sea full of what I would consider right now greatness.
I actually, man, and I understand why it is forgettable, right? Because I don't think that I would have necessarily said I want to watch this.
Yeah.
In comparison to so many other things, right? Because we do have a lot of things that I feel like I've seen so far that if I had to choose like 10, this might not be on that list. But I felt like this was so easy to watch, bro. Like, for me, I had it on. I feel like I didn't really have to move my eyes away from it. I was like, this is goofy enough.
It was at first when you watch it before you watch everything else, which
is ironic. I'm not arguing that.
Yeah, and I don't think you're tripping at all. I don't think you're tripping at all because it came out on Tuesday, on Monday. No, Tuesday. It came out on Tuesday. So it was at the beginning of the week before everything else dropped. So yeah, actually, I agree with you. It was 100% easy to watch. But then I watched everything else. And that shit, I just forgot all about it. Like, I just like, oh, until just now. It's fine. I'm going to continue to watch it. It's not like I'm at the point where I'm like, oh, I'm going to give this a 3-episode rule. I feel like I can watch this whole thing, but I would never, I cannot recommend this to anybody.
Yeah, that's not what I'm saying, though. And I 100% agree with that. I don't think it's going to be recommendable, no, but I don't think it's hard to watch by any stretch of the imagination.
It's a 65, and that's exactly where I would put it. I actually agree with Annie List for once. Did you watch the Case Book of Arne?
Yeah.
I did like this one, though.
You said what?
I did like this one, though.
You really did?
Yeah. Let me tell you why. I liked it. I liked it because it was The mystery was interesting. It was it was actually a mystery one, because the problem with mystery shows lately is that they've been uninteresting. There's quite a few mystery ones outside of like ID Invaded that have been so uninteresting that I just couldn't continue to watch it. This one was interesting because I really wanted to know how his family died. Once we find out that how the way he solves it was neat, and then the way it ended was very neat, because it's like, oh shit, what's next? I will say this. After this first episode, though, I doubt it's going to be good after. I have a strong suspicion that it's going to be very blah after that first episode. But the first episode I thought was cool enough that I liked it. But the rest, I don't think it's going to be good at all.
So I didn't think you was going to like this at all. I thought this was going to be like a only Tales watching this season. And it might still be that, obviously.
Yeah, probably after the
but I was certain that this wasn't going to hit for you. And I'm going to tell you why I didn't think it was going to land in this first episode for Polo. Other than the kind of like how things went about towards that led to the ending. Because I think that the way that things were presented until the end, I was kind of like, and it's the detective. Some of these detective shows, like you said, what was it? The other one where the guy is being hunted, right? That's a pretty good one. Yeah, but it's still like a lot of them. They're either being too whimsical or like almost like too serious, where they're taking the enjoyment out of it, or they're doing too much of an exposition dump. Yes. Which I feel like I agree that this didn't do a lot of the things that I would normally say are bad, right?
Right, I agree.
But when it landed in the end, that's where I would say it definitely stuck the landing for me, especially when seeing that it was like they presented this character as if it was the main character. Mm-hmm. And that I was like, oh shoot, okay.
That was cool.
That was cool.
Everything about that first episode was cool, but the rest I don't think is going to be very good.
I don't, because I feel like that shock value only lasts for one episode. Mm-hmm. Yep. Now we've been introduced. Now we know what's coming.
Now it's going to be the same thing that we just discussed about mysteries, and it's going to be, I think it's just going to be so average that it's not even worth watching.
Right, and that's why I think that, like, man, and I guess this is like a foresight thing. This is why I didn't think it was going to land for Polo. It's because of the foresight. It's like, this isn't going to be good after this.
Right.
Like, what could they do? What could they do to maintain that level of strength? You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And after that kind of introduction, I feel like it's very hard to do that. This is going to be a case by case episode scenario.
Probably.
You know what I mean? Unless they're going to do an overarching case where that was just that introduction to say, hey, these are who the characters are. But we didn't even get a super big introduction to those characters in this episode.
Facts. All right, let's go to the next one. Okay, so another show that I actually enjoyed that is seemingly unique in the genre of atypical be usuals is Hell Mode.
Oh, okay.
You didn't think I was gonna go here?
Nah, I was thinking about something else.
Okay. Hell Mode is interesting because it's about a guy who gets isekai into a game, but it's different. He doesn't necessarily die. He just get pulled into this game after becoming too bored with the games he's already played. I mean, he's beat every game on the hardest difficulty, and his goal was to find the hardest game possible. And he finds one. He gets isekai into one as the weakest class, as a baby, part of a surf community, which is just basically a super poor family, which means that he has to kind of work his way up. Now, it seems very interesting because he's playing a class that they just created, which is an interesting tidbit in this episode. And the fact that he started the game as a sperm cell and that was part of the game that he also had to win. It was pretty good. I think it's gonna be atypical be usual, Polo until last show. But interesting enough to where we can almost recommend it. Like on that teetering. This is different.
Yeah, that one I found oddly hilarious.
Yeah, me too.
Is that the way to put it?
Yeah.
Oddly hilarious. It was like one of those 100% nah, bro. I'm not recommending it yet.
Yeah.
But
yes.
But I already see where the excellence in this show comes in at.
Or could come in at.
Yeah, right, where it could come in at, because you're right, it could flop. But I feel like this is one of those ones where I am surprised, but I'm not surprised, right? Because I feel like this is the kind of show that even if it kind of flopped where it's not mainstream good, it's still like it's on the back burner show kind of good. Like I can still turn this on one of these days. And yeah, it's super duper easy to watch. Now, what I thought you were gonna go to, because this is normally in a very polo genre-esque show. Did you watch it all the way?
Of course. Yeah. I thought we talked about this last week, though. We didn't?
Did we? I don't remember talking about it last week. Did we talk about it last week?
Because it came out last week. Did we just miss it? Huh. If we didn't, we could talk about it now again, because this shit was fantastic. I did talk about it. I do remember talking about how adorable she is, how sweet this is.
Okay.
Now I'm super interested in the story of her lost memory.
I just didn't watch it. Yeah. Watched it all the way. It was fucking phenomenal.
Yeah, it was great.
Entirely beautiful, and maybe that's why I think I added it to my list. That's why I'm just not talking about it, because I added it to my list now.
It's great.
Beautiful show. Super lovable. Wakana Kime.
Yeah.
I fucking love her, bro.
Yeah.
The show, and the only thing that made me kind of dislike the show is that I felt like it went a little too fast. I was ready for
Flew by.
Yeah, I was ready for more immediately. So yeah, watched it all the way. Easily. That's where I thought it was gonna go. This is one that I don't want to. I guess I'm going to kind of just mention it here, since it is on episode 2 already. But it's definitely one I think that as a super easy watch, definitely turn this one on. I'm
really interested to see what happened to her memory. Like that is essentially what I'm excited to learn about, and just meeting her little interactions with people and the way she cleans clothes, and then in episode 2 how she was interacting with the little girl was adorable. It was all just so sweet. What I thought you were talking about when you mentioned this is a polo ass show was this one, The Invisible Man and His Soon to Be Wife. This the one I thought you was gonna bring up. Did you watch this one?
Yes, man, they cooking.
Yo, shout out to one of our producers, Frozen, who mentioned that Slice of Life is cooking this season. But this one is kind of supernatural as well, but still, the basis is Slice of Life. It is so endearing, adorable, and perfect. It's about an invisible man. Now, this is a society where animal people, beast-like people, elves, ogres, they all coexist with humans. It's just a perfectly normal thing in their society. Now, it's this detective agency, essentially, or a private investigation office that has an invisible man. This invisible man is working with a woman who's blonde. And these two characters are so adorable, so fucking just likable. Everything about this entire show is adorable. It seems to follow mostly the blind woman opposed to the invisible man, even though it's called The Invisible Man and His Soon to Be Wife. It's mostly the blind woman who's the main character, and she's just so adorable. I love her to death. Like, I just want the absolute best for her.
And so it's cool in the aspect of like them doing the detective private investigator thing, and seeing his little ability to be invisible and stuff like that.
Yep.
And
it got a lot of depth.
It's nuance, right? But that was also part of the thing that made it really cool was, for instance, it shows that the emotional connection is important here.
Yep.
And I say that because she's already blind, and he's a person that already can't be seen.
Yep.
So the connection between these two people,
and the fact that she can always find him, even though he's invisible.
Right. So always sweet. Find him is amazing, right? But then even when like we get the part where he gets cut or hurt, you know what I mean? Yeah. He has some blood. And she's like, how do you even know how bad it is? He's like, well, I can't really tell. Which is the thing you don't think about.
Exactly. At all.
If someone told me I was invisible, I was like, man, that's cool. I'm invisible. But then you think about getting hurt. Like, I can't even tell how bad it is.
Exactly.
It's such a cool concept. But I am thoroughly invested in what their emotional context grows into, because there is a level of awareness, like her even being able to smell his scent and stuff like that. That's part of how she always knows where he is and things like that. He can't even detect how he smells, but she always knows. So I just, this show is one of those ones. It's one of the ones that, like I said, if I had a top 10 this season, this would be on there for sure.
Dude, midterms are going to be crazy this season. This might be one of the highest rated winners we've had, because we still got Oshinoko and Free Run to go. Those ain't even been here yet. I do want to mention though, I don't know if you watched this. Maybe I'm the only one of us that watched it. No, because you watched a shit ton too, so you probably got this one on your list. The Misanthrope teaches a class for Demi-Humans.
I did not watch that one. I actually just saw you had that on your list.
Okay, yeah. So this one is intriguing. It's about a teacher who is a former teacher who's done with society. He hates humans because it seems like he's been a good human who was taken advantage of in his time in life. And essentially, he's been out of work as a former teacher for 2 years. His mom was like, look, you got to get a job. You got to figure something out because this is getting rough. And he's like, well, shit, she's right. He comes across this advertisement of a position for somebody who they're looking for a teacher who teaches social studies. You're in the boonies. You don't have to interact with humans, they say, or something like along those lines. And he's like, oh, that sounds up my alley. So he applies for it. And when he applies for it, he comes to find out that he's going to this basically hidden school that is full of demi-humans. And he's teaching them how to pass as human in a human society so that when they graduate, they can become humans, the girls in his class. And what's interesting about it is that I think what I like about it is that it's going to have a dynamic of these kids who are so influenced by the way of humans that they're doing whatever they can to become a human, with a teacher who hates humans. So it's basically going to be them teaching him how to appreciate humanity and him showing them how to obtain their humanity. And I think that's a cool dynamic in a show like this. Very, silly, but I think it's going to have more depth than it's presented at the beginning. Very, very neat. So I'm actually looking forward to more of this.
Yeah.
And then
I added that to my list.
I also going in our top 10, and I'm gonna speak for Tell here, and I could be wrong. He's about to tell me I'm wrong, probably. Easygoing Territory Defense by the Optimistic Lord. Fucking fantastic. It's a Polo Until Last show that I could recommend though. I love this shit so far. I recommend it. Yeah, I don't see it on Crystal's list. So, Crystal, if you have the room, okay, and the opportunity, Easygoing Territory Defense by the Optimistic Lord is worth it. Yeah, this one is interesting.
It's really because of that whole idea. So basically what it is we have a young boy who is reincarnated.
Yep.
He's reincarnated from this world though, right? He's not like reincarnated from another world, but he's reincarnated, and essentially he has all of his memory and know-how, essentially. So he's already relatively smart.
Yep.
And he exceeds expectations from a very young age. Like they show him at like the age of 2, reading and communicating in a way that adults would. Already taking interest in things. By the time he hits 4, he's already practicing with a sword and other things of the sort.
Very high expectations set for him.
Yeah, very high expectations set for him. He's making decisions that would essentially cause him to be he's making decisions that will essentially put him in a position or be perceived as like wise for a very young age. So at the age of 8, I think it is 7 or 8, he he gets determined what his magic is. And as a noble, the magic they want you to have is like an earth, fire, water element. Yeah. And it's one more. But either way, one of these 4 main elements, and he gets like the production element or production magic,
which is like the least sought after magic in this world,
because it's literally you just make weapons, and weapons can be made without this magic. So it's like why have a magic that you don't even need to do anything with? And I guarantee he's about to be a dog at that. Yeah. And I'm gonna tell you why.
I take that back, Crystal. Don't add it to your list, Crystal. Don't add it to your list, because it ain't gonna be for her. It's gonna be for us, though. Sorry.
Yeah, but it's not just that though. It's every interaction though, outside of this like militaristic mindset and world development series that I feel like he's gonna go through, because I feel like he's gonna develop his little land, and they're gonna be salty. Like, why can't I be like him, or what is he doing so well? I already foresee it, and that's what I'm here for. Because I'm about to be talking. Brother. I might be talking mad trash alongside him. Yeah, but shout out to Big Bro. Which one was it? It was which brother was it? Was it the second oldest?
Yeah, second oldest or something like that.
But the king was essentially going to kill him.
Yeah, going to execute him
because he's a disgrace. But I can't wait to see what he does. I can't wait to see how these relationships continue to grow.
Yeah. How the realest hero rebuilt the kingdom essentially is what this is given.
But a little bit more like
less strategic, more I don't know.
More fun.
Yeah, more fun. More fun. And that's why I don't know. Maybe Crystal wouldn't add it to her list because of that aspect of it. But I think
she'd be mad at the king.
Yeah. I think she would like it, but maybe this is a stretch. This is a very teetering between on the fence of will Crystal like it or will she won't. I'm leaning towards probably not, but maybe she will. I don't know. Hard to tell. I enjoy it. I think it's a great. We can recommend to anybody who likes shows like we do. The atypical, usual Polo and Tell That shows. Y'all know which ones we talking about.
You know which ones we talking about.
Those
the
shows
ones we like that we always like.
Yeah, even though they're not great, we wouldn't fucking put them on a pedestal or anything like that. But we just like them. All right. Leave the judgment for Judy. Yeah. Great. Now, is it time to go to stuff that is returning? We talked to Scum of the Brave at the beginning. Scum of the Brave was terrible.
Yeah. Hold up. Because I think, let me see, just checking. Roll over and die. I will fight for ordinary life with my love and cursed sword.
Another Yuri.
I don't think that this is a Polo show. I'm not sure if it's a Tail show. And it's mostly because like this is always my thing. This is always my thing. I get it. They place us in these fantasy worlds where there's slavery and things like that. I get it. Then they do it, but it's all I don't know. God, I don't want to say it. Is this sexist of me to feel like putting a woman in slavery and then doing some of the things that they do in this show just feels like too much and it makes me not want to watch it? Well, I'm not sure if that's the case.
I think I'm picking up what you're putting down, and I see.
I'm just not necessarily happy with that, but I do hope that, because I feel like we're past that phase now, right?
Yeah.
But it's more like the overt. It's like the overt, like how they place the discrimination and stuff like that just makes it a little like, and this show doesn't make me want to watch it. The Darwin incident.
Oh yeah, the one you said you probably ain't gonna keep watching.
Yeah, I don't know about that, bro. It's I'm not sure yet. I'm gonna give it 3-episode rule.
Okay. At least it made it that far. To be fair.
Yeah. Isekai Office Worker.
Okay. Yeah.
Did you watch that one?
No. This is another one that's not for me.
I'm not. Is this supposed to be a boys' love? It didn't seem like, but either way, it's mad decent at best. It's not it's not even. I wouldn't even be mad at you for not watching it, brother. And then Kaya Chan isn't scary. It's actually a very tell ass anime. It's not a polo ass anime. It's a spiritual or like supernatural anime. Little girl's a psychic. She sees all these psychic beings and people think that she's like out to hurt them and like get them. Really what she's doing is she's like saving them from spirits. So like there's a little boy who's at the park and he's getting pushed on the swing and he thinks that it's her, but it's really a spirit that's trying to throw him off the swing so it can eat him.
Oh shit.
The little girl grabs the swing and stops it and he goes flying off and gets on the swing herself. The monster starts pushing her to do the same thing to her and she ends up using her psychic powers to kill the monster. It's a very goofy but it's supposed to be like a supernatural horror anime. I'm not going to say it's good. not going to do that at all. But I personally enjoy it.
Okay.
And I think that is it for the things that Tell is watching that Brolosaurus Rex is not.
Clean, brother, clean. Hey, I think that's everything for the new shows. Let's get into some of these returning ones that deserve our time. And let me start off by one that I'm watching that you're not.
Okay.
Chain Soldier Season 2.
Oh, I meant to start that one though.
This one has some of the best fucking character design of the shonen type of shows. Outside of, I will give credit to Gacha Akira. The one thing that they do have is great character design, but this one, from what this show is, the character, like the character design of the other characters is so special. Like they're the coolest looking women soldiers you will ever fucking see. They look awesome, man. I'm like, oh, this shit is fucking cool. And again, something about this particular shonen, the story is so intriguing to me when it comes to, and it's not because it's ecchi and it's not because it's harem-esque. It's just a very interesting concept of this whole other world that comes out into society, and it's only these women soldiers who can defeat them. And they have such unique abilities. I mean, it's the atypical usual abilities, but they introduced this one, the Supreme Commander in this episode, and fuck, dude, she's incredible. Like Supreme Commander giving Gojo a run for his money. That shit was so fucking dope. I'm like, okay, I like this show, and I just like, again, this is not a good shonen. This is not up the levels of Jujutsu Kaisen or Hell's Paradise or anything like that. But this is one for me that I actually enjoy, which is rare. This shit was dope, this first episode. So I'm looking forward to more of that. Okay. And then speaking of Jujutsu Kaisen, let's go to that. 2 episodes dropped, beautifully directed. Mappa did their fucking thing as usual. As down as I was on watching JJK, I'm glad I did, because it was fucking incredible to see what I've already read. And mind you, this is one that's still stuck in my brain. I remember everything so vividly from what I read that even watching it, usually I'd be disappointed when I'm watching something that I already read. I wasn't disappointed in these first 2 episodes. The shit was great.
One of the things that JJK has done extremely well since season 1 is motion. The motion that they do is kind of crazy.
I wish I didn't read it, man.
Yeah.
It would have been so much cooler.
It's the Yuji in the air, legs and arms swinging. I'm like, yo, is this like, what do they call it? Uncanny Valley? Like, what's going on here? Why does it feel like I'm low key moving with him?
And the dude that do the frame power, the 24 frames power or whatever, the way he was moving it, he was fucking fixing his airway, he was beating Osu's ass, or Pasu's ass, whatever his name is.
Yeah.
Dope to see. Actually,
it's so good though, because even in those moments, right, you look at his like form and stuff, it didn't look like it was just sloppy punches all over the place. It looked like he actually was like,
it's heavy,
drawn, and but it was drawn in a way in which is like, it looked like he was intentionally fighting in a like martial arts style. You know what I mean? Not like some just throwing together punches like you might see in Dragon Ball Z. I like Dragon Ball, mind you. Just better combat here. That it's hard to take anything away from JJK when you're watching it, man. But yeah, just here to see the story animated. We've already read to this point, and maybe we'll give a little bit more in later episodes with spoiler context and just how we see things going.
Yeah, because I think it was just after the Culling game where I stopped. So I'm not ever reading it ever again because I just want to see it animated because it's just so beautiful. It's just so good. And they do such a great job of adapting it, right? Like the way they position story elements compared to what they did in the manga is so much better in the show than it is in the manga. Except for the part where they show the rules of the Culling game. That part I'm glad I read because holy fuck, how the hell are you supposed to know those rules?
That's 1,000 of them.
I know, which they're going to go into depth later on. Even when I read it, they're going to go into depth as to what the rules are. So it's not to speak on that per se, but yeah, it was very good, very very good 2 episodes to the start of season 3. Also, shout out to Gigi, who was the creator of Jujutsu Kaisen. His biggest influence for JJK is Bleach. So just to keep that in mind for those who think that Bleach don't have plot. No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
You tripping.
Moving on to one of our former, yet now maybe again favorite, Fire Force Season 3 Part 2. I said it in the Discord, and I mean this wholeheartedly. This was 10 times better than Part 1 of Season 3.
I agree.
This has everything Fire Force is in this one episode, like by a long shot compared to what we got in Part 1. Part 1 was not good at all, and it made us so sad if you were a part of the podcast during that time. So sad.
Yeah, so and mind you, this felt like better paced. It felt like
so good.
We weren't getting nonsense for just like the sake of progression.
Mm-hmm.
And
no over exposition, nothing.
While I still feel like a little clueless because I don't feel like I know exactly what comes next. You know what I mean?
And that's what made Fire Force great, Tell.
Yeah. I feel like I'm back in the seat again, if that makes sense. Like I'm here to watch and enjoy again. So this episode was very it was very promising.
Yeah, man. Hopefully they keep up this trajectory because it was absolutely everything we love about Fire Force. Like I said, everything from the mystery to the lore world building to learning what we only know what the character knows. Like that was what made Fire Force special. And season 3, part 1, everything was just coming at us so whimsically and weird. It just didn't feel like it was Fire Force anymore at that point. But this part 2 is definitely back. So very excited about that. And then let's talk about Hell's Paradise, brother. No, let's go. Before we go into Hell's Paradise, let's go to Trigun Stargaze.
Mm-hmm.
That's back with season 2. This show is gorgeous. It's one of the CGI shows that I can and will tolerate. Now, it's not To Be Hero X, no, but it's still very, very good. Albeit, though, I'm slightly confused because I don't remember. I do remember a lot of it, but I don't know.
Well, yeah. So this is I first of all, with the animation, I agree. Second of all, it does feel like they kind of dropped us off, and this is like a kind of like cold start to like say we're getting back into it again.
It was a recap in a natural way.
Yeah. But they still it's the girls, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I like those characters, and maybe we get a because maybe we'll get a more of a linear storyline than we got in the first season.
Yeah,
I feel like the first season, I'm not gonna say it wasn't linear because it wasn't very like all over the place. But now maybe we'll get a more like adventure progression.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not sure what they're going for necessarily yet, but it's one that I am excited for. It doesn't give me we're trying to pull off Cowboy Bebop vibes. It feels like just Trigun in the future. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like,
what's cool about this is that it's so different than the original that I'm shocked that I enjoy it.
It's not trying to recreate the wheel.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just doing something entirely different.
So different. That it kind of, I am excited to see where this one goes, because now that it's concerning, okay, because I'm trying not to spoil too much of it. It's concerning because the goal of the first season was to stop somebody from stealing the plants. Vash was accused of being the one stealing the plants because it was his twin brother doing it. Sorry, spoilers for the first season. Now this is where it gets a little concerning though, because it's essentially the same thing again, but at least at the very beginning. But now, humanity is back for the most part, and now that's where I want to see where this goes. And then obviously what happened between those 2 years and Vash and his memory in it, or what he got going on right now. So it's intriguing. I'm intrigued, but I feel like this is probably one that's gonna be better binged than watched week to week. Yeah, and it'll honestly make my week easier. To be fair, because it's a lot of shows this season. And then now let's go to the star of this show. I think personally, Hell's Paradise is back, baby.
Yes.
Bro.
So
I love how it just drops us right into it.
Yeah, almost no time essentially has passed,
Which is great for somebody who just did a rewatch.
Exactly. Man, it's really the
unknown.
So yes, it's the unknown, but it's so they're introducing or they're bringing in more stuff, right? And the thing is, the things that they implement or bring in always make sense, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, I agree.
So the Shigokuri, or how do you say that? The ninja, the other ninja, that they're bringing, Gabimaru's ninja master is like, I left something on that island that I need to go get.
Which
we know what it is.
Which lead credence to the fact that when the Shinobi last season was telling them like, I'm not sure if Gabimaru actually has a wife, or they're trained over there a bit different, and this is why, and this is the way they move. That leads credence to that conversation that we had in season 1, because it seems like the master just treated him like a thing, and injected these memories that he don't actually have, or maybe he does. We don't really know for sure, but it's just it's all, when that comes together, it's gonna be fucking heartbreaking if it's as the Shinobi said.
And let me say something, and I could be entirely wrong, but this is where my mind went, right? This master of his, right? Gabimaru's master. This is just a random gut check. This is where, like I said, this is where my mind went when I was watching this. I'm thinking,
spoilers for those that don't know.
Yeah, spoiler for those who don't know. I'm thinking that Gabimaru does have a wife, right?
Okay.
But what actually happens is that Gabimaru has access to Tao energy. That's how they practice in ninjutsu and whatnot. And what the master did is gave him a wife so that they could practice the different forms of it. And he's just living off the energy, or somehow siphoning energy off Gabimaru. I could be entirely wrong.
So,
but
okay.
But I do feel like, because he has said, or we have seen through Gabimaru's memory, that the master seemingly lived forever, or has lived for a very long time. But not in the same sense as like the Tenzin. The Tenzin, they maintain youth, beauty, that kind of stuff. Whereas the master, he's doing some kind of artificial way.
Yeah.
Or at least that's what it seems like.
Like illusion matter, like a genjutsu. But I'm gonna piggyback off your theory. Piggybacking off of your theory, maybe he does have a wife, but with that, he has that wife as a leash. Yes, or not even necessarily a leash, but a chain that could be broken. Like, hey,
he's a chain soldier, season 2.
The only way he keeps his motivation is if he has something to fight for, and the master knows that, so he gave him something to fight for. That's maybe my theory on top of your theory, is that she does exist. the master knows this and gave him something to fight for. Because that's going to unleash his full potential, because the master knows something about Gabimaru that we just don't yet. Right. And that's, again, what we mentioned at the beginning, is the sense of unknown when it comes to Hell's Paradise is so well told, because it all unravels slowly and it methodically and beautifully and just so well done. I will say that I do miss the season 1 intro. That intro was a fucking bop.
Yeah. Yeah. Gabimaru not having his memory.
That fucking sucks still.
Yeah, that sucks. And I say it sucks. It sucks kind of like twofold. Because as a character in the show, I feel like he's at a disadvantage without his memory.
Mm-hmm.
He's fighting very thoroughly, and I feel like in the engagement that we had here, right? You know what I mean? From his previous experience, had he had his memories from what he just did,
he would have mopped old boy.
Yeah. and dude would have had no idea what come. But I feel like it's kind of like the author saying, "Hey, look, Gabimaru's OP. I can't just have him out here wrecking my whole story." But it's also, I feel like it makes sense in regards to, as a last stand, you know what I mean? There isn't overwrite, you know what I mean? It's not, this isn't the first show to do kind of like this I'm on death's door, overwrite your original memory. Because like they say, Batman has it built in, etc. You know, other characters, which, mind you, I hate Batman. I think that it sucks. But the call to action for him being on death's door, I feel like remains as a significant like stamp for his ninja way. You know what I mean? Not his ninja way, but the ninja philosophy that he was taught and trained on. It shows how deeply ingrained it is. And that's what leads also more credence to the idea that we both were kind of stating that, you know, maybe he does have a wife. And it's part of that training to say you have this moral reason to fight. You have a reason to fight, and you need to maintain that. But on death's door, when we don't think you are going to survive anymore, throw everything away, and die for it. You know what I mean? Go.
I think the issue with what happened at the end of season 1 is that he learned how to use Tao and he was using it. But the problem is using something like that untrained and without the support of, you know, the other guy eating fucking the flowers and the other people and the animal and the monsters of this island. Without, like, he was able to utilize this power quickly, but because of that, you're not using it correctly. It's because you can use the power, and this is why I like Hell's Paradise more than just that. What you said initially, how it's like it's always something like this, but no, this is different because he learned how to use it quickly, but because he learned how to use it quickly, he's using it wrongly, and because of that, it threw off his entire balance of his body. Right, his entire balance of his yin and his yang, or his strength and his weak. So because of that, his whole shit is all fucked up right now, and he has to get it together or internalize it again, and then circulate it properly throughout his body. And that's what essentially is so fucking cool about this memory loss compared to other ones where they try to nerf characters, is that it has a prominent and purposeful reason for happening. And I think that's cool. I think that's just so fucking cool. One of the best power systems in the fucking anime sphere, in my opinion. That and curse energy. And they're incredible.
Now we get back into the action. They get right back to it, bro.
I love it.
The brothers, like, hear me out. I'm not even necessarily mad.
Mm-hmm.
Because, like,
it's realistic, man. Not realistic in it. Obviously, I'm not saying it's possible to happen in real life, but it's reasonable.
Yeah, you know? they only thing those brothers care about is each other.
Yep.
Which, mind you, okay. I'm not mad about that. You want to make sure your brother survives. And your brother wants to make sure that he does everything in his power to protect you. Mm-hmm. Mind you, he ain't directly saying that. He just going straight balls to the wall. Yeah. I'm wrecking everything in sight. And while I think obviously it's very like badass. Everybody's gonna say, "Oh, that's dope." I think that how does this character become like a martyr? Or do they bring them together somehow? Like, are they going to be a part of the group? Are they going to work together? Because they've already literally just established the fact that they don't want to.
Yeah.
And is bro going to be able to return from his transformation like the Tenzin have? Because, like you said, untrained,
yep,
mind you.
Yep.
He's breaking.
Yeah. I don't know, man. That's all strong points. Hard to even, again, that's what makes Hell's Paradise so good, because you just don't know. The unknown, the mysterious, just the level of unknown and learning as it unravels is so fucking cool. Like, you could still guesstimate what's going to happen in Jujutsu Kaisen. You can kind of foresee maybe because we read it though, so let me take that with a grain of salt. But anything else, Tonganaki, Gachiaka, the shows like that, you can see where it goes. Nah, not this one. I feel so unprepared. It's like when you watch Naruto for the first time. You don't know what
pull up to the village and erase everything.
Or the fucking, when they're on their very first mission, they're gonna get a fucking S-class mission like the Zabuza fight. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just don't know exactly what's gonna happen in Hell's Paradise. And that's just such a great feeling that I just haven't had in such a long time, that I thoroughly enjoy in this show. So great. But let me keep it real with you. I love this season so far. I am so excited to continue watching all these shows. I'm gonna be real with you.
I agree. There's like 13, 14, 20 of them.
Yeah.
That I actually really enjoy.
Yeah, there's going to probably, by the time it's all said and done, my guest, probably by mid or cut week, I'm gonna probably have like 17.
Yeah, we're gonna have to play our own culling games.
Yeah, exactly. But what a great episode. I'm at Polo Born Flower on all social media.
I'm at King Taliano on all social media.
You can follow our social medias and subscribe to the YouTube channel, youtube.com/@MikeCheckWife4Food. And subscribe to our gaming podcast, YouTube. Blah, blah, blah. And as always, Mike Check.
Put some respect on my name, brother.
Peace.
You're now tuned into Mike Check Waifu Waifu. Is that you? Is that you? Is that you? Is that you?